Welcome to Valhalla Hills. Valhalla Hills is a building game in which you lead a tribe of Vikings, helping them expand on a system of islands. The entry to Valhalla has been denied to your Vikings, which makes them virtually immortal, but they strive to open portals into the world of the gods in order to gain access to Valhalla after all. Every Viking has an individual name, and of course you can decide to rename them at any time. However, you don't control your units directly. Instead, you help them create a functioning settlement by deciding when and where to erect which kind of building or trail. In the end, your Vikings will be able to activate the portal of their respective island. On each map, you will have to cleverly plan production, housing and infrastructure, as well as defeat supernatural enemies so that your Northmen and women come a step closer to their goal, Valhalla. Each island is a randomly generated three-dimensional landscape. Building settlements. Vikings will respond to the demands of labor and building materials, will take matching occupations on their own and transport raw materials. At the beginning of each mission, basic raw materials are scattered around the central monolith and can be easily collected. Using the first Vikings who are falling from the skies, tossed out of Valhalla, you must now establish a basic economy that begins with the production of wood. Over time, you will unlock new workshops and also extensions for the basic facilities to refine raw materials. Moreover, ever longer supply chains will develop, beginning with a farm producing grain, which is turned into flour by a mill and finally into bread by a baker. However, just as important as the production of wood, stone, food and metal is increasing your numbers. So you will need more tents and huts offering places to rest to raise the maximum of your population. And at the same time, you need more Vikings to build and operate more facilities. Keep an eye on the notification bar at the top right. If there's a shortage or a building gets finished, you get a quick message that centers on the person or building in question and can be dismissed by right-clicking. You can also choose which notifications will be shown, which can be handy in battle when you will get a lot of info to pass through. The terrain. The terrain is an important factor in your building projects. Not only are there different soils which provide different raw materials or are more or less suited for the cultivation of crops. All the islands are also hilly or mountainous. If you want to construct a building, a color display will indicate how difficult it will be to erect the building in the chosen spot. If the color green is displayed, building here is no problem. In all other areas, you will have to build a platform first in order to erect the actual building on a flat surface. This will cost additional resources. The end result can look very idyllic, and often you will have no other choice but to fully use the island's terrain, no matter how steep. Since you will not only unlock new buildings and options over time, but also encounter new types of terrain, it becomes more and more important with every island to adapt your building style to the island's topography. Sometimes it may take a while until a new building is finished. In these less hectic parts of the game, you can simply speed up time. You can also stop time completely to get a better overview of the current situation. The inhabitants. As you build trails, you influence the paths of your units. If they have the choice to walk on a solid path to run faster rather than trudging through the grass, they will choose the path. In addition, those paths will expand the spheres of influence of your facilities. They will enable you to open up new deposits for the stone carver, for example. Simply click on your units to display their exact routes and their last destination. Here you can also see how the paths are adapting to changing circumstances, as with this hunter stalking animals. Many professions, be it logger, fisherman, stonecutter or soldier, need special tools. Each character possesses 2 slots, one for a tool, one for the raw materials he or she is carrying. Tools are crafted by the Vikings themselves as long as the necessary materials are within reach. From a branch and a piece of flint, they can create a primitive axe, or a bow from a tree branch and a string of leather. Your Vikings also have a set of stats, and of course they are made for the life of a fighter. In the next video we will show you the Vikings in battle.